Hello, so this is my 31 week update, my little pregnancy vlog here. Um, I will be 31 weeks in like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna say I'm 31 weeks. I did have an ultrasound this morning. I started to talk about it in another video, which I thought was gonna be my 31 week update, but I started blabbering about due dates and all kinds of crap, so I was like, I'm gonna make another one. So that way you guys don't have to like listen to the whole thing. I am 20. What is wrong with me? I am 30 weeks and 6 days today. I will be 31 weeks in a couple hours, like I said. I had an ultrasound very early this morning. His smallest measurement was like 29 weeks something, but his biggest measurement, which was like, his smallest was his femur, and the biggest was like his head and everything else, and that was all pretty much in the same range of 31 weeks, 6 days, which would put me a whole week ahead. His heart rate on my ultrasound was 140. Very good. She said everything looked okay, so I know I said before there was a possible complication with his kidneys. That's not there anymore. Like, she's not seeing anything wrong. She just said that he's measuring big. They did not change my due date. They probably won't change my due date from here on out. I'm already 31 weeks, like I said, give or take a few hours. And, I don't know. I've been thinking since the beginning that he's gonna come end of April, so we'll just see if that is true. He will still be full term, so don't worry. It's not like a preemie thing, but as long as they're 37 weeks, I believe they are full term. So then after that, I had a doctor's appointment, and I got to meet an obstetrician that I've never met before. She was very nice. I brought my disability papers because I found out that my job will pay for 4 weeks of medical leave before I go out on disability, only if my doctor requests it, and then I get 6 weeks state disability after I have the baby. So, sorry for being out of breath, by the way, it's one of my symptoms. And I had my disability papers, and then they said, oh, well, you would be out 30 days before your due date, and we would need to know 30 days in advance. So I'm like, well, that's 60 days. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like March 16th. It would have to be turned in by. So I printed out all the papers myself, and I brought them to my appointment today. I also printed out my birth plan because, I wanted to talk about it. And she was like, oh, we usually don't talk about this yet. And I'm like, I'm 31 weeks, like, more or less. And she kept saying, oh, I'm 30 weeks because I guess since it's one more day, they don't count it yet. But, she was like, well, you're 30 weeks and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, things happen every day. And I think from the get-go, from the time you're like 16 weeks or so, you should be able to talk about a birth plan with your doctor. What if your doctor is like, oh, no, I won't do that? Or, oh, no. Like, you mean you'd have to find somebody else who would accommodate that? So I felt like that was a little disconcerting when, like, they said, she was nice about it, but she was like, oh, well, usually we don't talk about this yet. Okay, well, just like you can't really plan a birth, I mean, you can have limitations as to what you will and won't do, but just like you can't really plan what's going to happen that day, you can't really plan when you're going to have him or her either. So I feel like it's a good idea to always have a plan. You can always, like, have a plan B, C, D, E, whatever plan you need to have, but you should always have a plan. And of course I have room for, modifications in my plan, my birth plan. It's not like anything too strict. I just know there's a few things that, I refuse to alter from. And she said, today that would be okay. Even though it's like 5 or 6 pages long, she said that she was going to put a copy in my, my file. I told her I will try to update it and make it shorter, make it, things in there that don't really need to be in there, try to take them out. Maybe add a few things, edit, whatever, and give her a new one. And she said that, I wasn't really, even though it's long, I wasn't really asking for anything, like, too crazy. I guess I thought, like, I would ask for the craziest things, but apparently people must ask for, like, some really crazy stuff. So I was pretty simple, I guess. And like I said, I did leave room for modification if need be. I mean, obviously there's always going to be a plan B, C, D, E, whatever. But hopefully, God willing, things go at least 10% according to plan. That would be nice. Sorry, the inside of my ear has been like dry or itchy or something. So, 31 weeks symptoms. If you haven't been able to tell already, I am extremely out of breath. This whole last week especially, oh my god. Like, there's times where I'm sitting at my desk and, like, I have to stop and I'm like, oh my god. Or, like, in the middle of a message, I just hit the mute button and I'm like, and like, I just, I almost made myself choke there. Excuse me one second. Okay. Grape. Love grape. Anyway, but yeah, like, I'm just so out of breath. And even when I was trying to tell her about it today, I was out of breath. And I sit there and she's like, oh, well, if you didn't talk so fast, or, you know, it doesn't matter. I talk fast because I'm running out of breath. And if I'm like running out of breath even more, I'll talk even faster to try to hurry up and finish what I'm saying. Because those of you who don't know much about nursing in the medical field, you may not understand this, but there's something called a hypoxic drive, which is like where your it's like the sensory of I forget exactly what senses it too, but you know when there's the difference of carbon dioxide and oxygen, and like when you're basically the thing that tells you when to breathe, not really tells you, but you know, sends a message to your brain to breathe, when the levels are changing. And I feel like I take a deep breath and I feel like I just don't let all the air out, and I'm already taking another breath, so there's too much air, like maybe too much oxygen, and I have to like let out some carbon dioxide. And I don't really know. I don't know what it is, but I understand it's a symptom of pregnancy that like a lot of people get, but I just feel like it's like really bad, and I'm like, it kind of worries me because sometimes I feel like faint. Like it'd be different if I was just out of breath and like, oh, that was it. But like I really just don't feel good, and like she was just kind of blowing it off like it was nothing, and I'm like, at least act like you care. Like, I don't know. But then again, that's the difference between a doctor and a nurse. The nurse will actually care, and the doctor's like, whatever. Um, Other symptoms. I've been having like pain where like my pubic bone is, like pelvic bone, whatever. It's not near my groin. It's not anything that's like a ligament or anything like that. No round ligament pain anymore, thank goodness. But it's just like the bone itself, like down there. And it's not all the time, it's just every once in a while. And sometimes it's so bad that like I can't even get like my underwear on. I have to sit there and like bend over sideways and do all kinds of crazy stuff just to try to get my stupid underwear and pants on and, excuse me, whatever. And I try to switch to slip-on shoes only because it's easier to get on. And other symptoms, more, I don't know the difference if it's heartburn or acid reflux. I know heartburn is a symptom of pregnancy, but I call it acid reflux because it kind of like burns and then it comes up. To me, heartburn would be like where your heart is and it would just burn based on how it would sound. But yeah, it's been like a mixture, I guess, and I think it sucks, and sometimes Tums helps and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. What else? I don't know. I've just been really hot lately, and sometimes I don't even really feel like it's the temperature's that hot. I think it's just me that's hot. Because sometimes in my office I'm like, oh my god, it's so hot. And everyone's like, it's really not that hot. Like, are you okay? I'm sitting there like fanning myself. I'm like, oh my god. I don't know. It's probably just me being pregnant. Any other symptoms that I've had? I need to start making a list because I know there's more than this, and then by the time I make a video, I just forget. My memory is terrible. And pregnant brain sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't remember anything. So, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop me a line, drop me a message, comment on this, whatever you need to do, and I will answer any questions you have. If you guys wanted to see a belly shot, let me see if I can accommodate that for you. I have my soda here. Okay. keep in mind that I did not realize that I put my pants on inside out. So these are actually my inside of my pockets. And I don't match either. I'm wearing my work shirt with my PJs. So make sure my belly's all tucked in here. That's one side. That's the other side. That's the front. Doesn't look like much. Dun, dun, dun. So that is my boy. My big boy. Alright. So that is all I have for week 31 for now. As I had said in my other video, I'm still going to keep my due date on May 16th because he's just measuring big. I mean, I have another ultrasound in 2 weeks. They're going to start doing them every 2 weeks now. If for some reason he's still measuring a week big, I mean, for me personally, maybe in my mind I might change it. But I'll probably just keep it the 16th and then just keep in my mind that there could be a possibility of, a week difference if that's what it still is measuring. As I said, any questions, anything like that, go ahead and drop me a line. I am going to bed. So good night, everybody. Have a nice night, and best of luck. Blessings. Mwah.